Amazon want a production company to help them make Stargate. But which production company do we want to get involved? Welcome to Scitrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So for a while now, I've been telling you guys, if you're a regular Sci-Trekker, that Stargate will have to have a co-production company to help Amazon and MGM to actually make it. They're going to need a company that actually owns studio space for a start, and somebody that will work alongside Penguin and Parker, Mark Fergus's company, in the development and then the production of the series, movie, both. So which production company has been rumoured, and which production company do I think is actually most likely to get involved with the new Stargate franchise? Let's start with the outsider, Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers actually does have a reasonably decent working relationship with MGM already. The recent Creed movies were all made in partnership with MGM and Warner Brothers. There's been a few other projects as well. But the interesting thing, and the rumor that I've heard recently, was that Amazon are looking to get a big deal to work in cooperation with somebody like Warner Brothers to rent studio space. They are planning to produce 5 or 6 cinematic movies a year. And they believe that the only way they can do that is if they actually strike up a partnership deal with a big production company. One of the rumors I've been hearing is that they've been negotiating with Warner Brothers to rent studio space, but to also partnership with several cinematic projects. Now, that is one possibility, and also possibly why Jennifer Salke is so keen for the first Stargate outing to be a cinematic movie done in partnership, maybe with Warner Brothers. Now, this may also be one of the reasons why this is taking so long. Amazon do want to do this kind of on the cheap. They want to have this done in partnership with somebody else. But also, this deal, potentially with Warner Brothers, is a big deal. It will be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and it would allow Amazon to rent exclusively a very large area of studio space. Currently, Warner Brothers has one of the largest studio spaces in Hollywood, but they also have some financial issues that this deal would seriously help to alleviate. But it is the outside possibility for the new Stargate project. There's a couple of other companies that I have heard mentioned, one being Lionsgate. Now, Lionsgate have done loads of TV shows over the years. They own the Stars Network that did shows like Outlander and the Spartacus series. They've done loads of movies, including Hunger Games, The Glass Onion for Netflix, the Rambo series, the Saw series, The Day After Tomorrow, one of my personal favorites. It was Lionsgate that are potentially interested, but the Amazon were not so keen. They are looking for a larger partner. One production company, though, that has been mentioned a couple of times now is Legendary Pictures. Now, Legendary Pictures recently did Carnival Row with Amazon, and they've done a couple of other big TV projects as well. It's also interesting to know that Legendary Pictures were actually involved in The Expanse. They also did Lost in Space for Netflix, and recently did the short Night Sky series for Amazon. This is a production company that definitely have the expertise to pull off something like the Stargate franchise. And I have heard this rumor a couple of times, but I have to admit, not for a little while. The rumor that I hear over and over again, though, is that Amazon are going to get into bed with Sony Pictures. Now, Sony do own a very large studio space, MGM's old studio space at Culver City. Now, the relationship between MGM and Sony Pictures has not always been a good one, but to be honest, Sony Pictures are kind of known for being slightly awkward to deal with. Look at the relationship between Marvel and Sony Pictures over Spider-Man. It's not always been a particularly cooperative deal. And even though it's all worked out, a couple of times in the last few years, it really did look like the relationship between Marvel and Sony over Spider-Man was going to collapse. It's also been told to me, actually, that Sony are very hardcore about getting their back end. They do want to get paid, and they negotiate hard. Is that something Amazon are going to be wanting to get involved with? Well, they have had a couple of big hits with Sony and Amazon over the last couple of years. It is Sony that produces The Boys, arguably one of Amazon's biggest hits over the last few years. They've done a few shows that haven't been so popular. Mad Dogs, Sneaky Peek, The Tick. The Tick was god-awful. Truth Seekers, and The Wheel of Time, just to mention a couple. The other thing, though, that is interesting is that The God of War is being co-produced by Sony and Amazon. But more interestingly, also by Penguin and Parker. Penguin and Parker, Mark Fergus's company, is doing the development work on God of War. And again, if you're a regular Sci-Trekker, you'll know that we've been talking about Penguin and Parker doing the development work for Stargate for quite some time now. And this has been confirmed by other MGM insiders like Jenny Stiven. Is it possible they might continue that partnership straight into Stargate? Well, it would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? The deal is already there. The partnership is already working. The people that would generally make God of War can then also be working on Stargate. It is a distinct possibility. But has Sony ever really been involved with Stargate before? Yes. They co-produced 2 seasons of Stargate Atlantis with MGM. So they already kind of have a vested interest in the Stargate franchise. And I can't help but love the idea of Stargate being filmed at Culver City, MGM's old studios. Isn't that kind of like it coming home? Now, a lot of the people have said that actually they would really like Stargate to be filmed up in Vancouver again. But when Amazon was buying MGM, they did have some trouble with the FTC. The head of the FTC, a lady called Khan, was very against the merger. And Amazon made a lot of compromises to get it through the FTC as quickly as possible. One of those compromises was that they agreed to do a large percentage of MGM's new projects in the United States. The idea being that it would generate tax revenue, something the governments quite like, and also stimulate TV and movie production in the United States. So it would look like a big franchise like Stargate, with potentially TV series and movies, would want to be filmed in America because it would fill a big part of that quota for Amazon. And getting filmed at MGM's old studios, there are elements of MGM that probably won't like that because there's a little bit of a bitter taste in the mouth from having to sell the studios. And there's been some difficult relationships in the past. But to be honest, that's irrelevant now that Amazon are in charge, and Amazon do have a good working relationship with Sony. So if I was a betting man, I would put all of my money on Stargate being co-produced by Sony Pictures. But guys, get into the comments and tell me what you're thinking. Who would you like Amazon and MGM to partner up with to produce this? Does Sony have the pedigree that we want producing Stargate? Or is Warner Brothers the company for you? Personally, I look at what they've done with the DC and I'm not so sure. But guys, get into the comments and tell me exactly what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you will never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/Scitrek, where you can see most of our new videos first. And for a small contribution that really helps the channel out, you get to see it without the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.